Dude, I never thought I'd end up in this situation, but here I am. This weekend, my wife, who's 38, and our 13-year-old daughter went to visit her mom. I couldn't join them because I couldn't get time off work. We decided it would be a girls' weekend for them. I'm a firefighter in a big southern city, and I'm getting ready for a call when our dispatcher hits me up to say there's some emergency. Turns out, I'm not really needed for the work call, so I grab my cell phone and see a bunch of texts from my kid and a few from an unknown number. So, I got this series of texts on my phone, and apparently my daughter went ice skating and totally wiped out, breaking her wrist. She's stuck in the ER and can't get treated because no one can reach my wife. Turns out, the number that kept texting me belongs to one of my wife's friends who went to the ER to be with my kid. She was supposed to be watching over the girls who went skating. I finally called this friend, and after beating around the bush for a while, she spilled the beans that my wife ditched the ER to have dinner with some dude. Hey, so we always let our family know where we are because of my job. But tonight, I looked up the address my wife shared with me, and it turned out to be a hotel. It was already 10 p.m. and now it's been almost 4 hours since she hasn't replied to my texts. She did eventually call our kid though. I have all her important info, and she got a cast and a referral to see a specialist when she gets back. Our friend took our daughter to her grandma's and texted me saying she's sorry I had to find out about that guy this way. Seems like every time she goes home, I'm not there. Meanwhile, I've been busting my butt working overtime to pay off our house, take us on nice vacations, and send our daughter to the most expensive private school in town. I finally woke up and talked to a lawyer, like many of you recommended. During that chat, I realized she doesn't actually have much money of her own. I took her off my credit cards and added two-factor authentication to pretty much everything. So I found out that my girl was out here trying to get her hands on anything she could. I checked my credit report and saw that she opened a joint credit card without me knowing. Luckily, I'm on the account too, so I was able to log in and see all the charges. Turns out she's been splurging on fancy restaurants and hotels. And get this, I found out she's also on Tinder and Bumble when I went through the phone bills. Luckily, I got a buddy who's a deputy sheriff in town and is coming over tonight when she gets home. I got her a room at a hotel close by for the week and paid for it in advance. She can crash there for now and figure things out on her own from tomorrow. My daughter and I had a chat, and she's pissed at her mom. So, the next step is to find someone for her to talk to. Luckily, my job comes with good insurance, so that's one less thing to stress about. When the time came for my wife to return, I was prepared. An old buddy who's a deputy sheriff agreed to be there during our showdown. I had already booked her a room nearby. I booked a hotel for a week and paid in advance. It was about time she experienced some of the uncertainty she caused me. The confrontation was not pleasant at all. Her begging and apologies didn't make a difference. I gave her the hotel room keys and told her to pack up and leave. She was shocked, but I didn't care. My daughter, full of anger, decided to stay with me. Afterwards, I had to make the tough call to her mother. It was a hard conversation, but it had to be done. She was shocked and initially defended her daughter, but eventually realized the truth. The proof I had gathered was solid, and things got crazy in the following weeks. The divorce process kicked off, and my lawyer didn't hold back. The evidence of her cheating was a slam dunk for me. I got to keep the house, my daughter decided to stay with me, and I got a good chunk of our stuff. Meanwhile, my ex's life went downhill fast. The dude she left me for was actually a scam artist who bailed on her, leaving her broke and broken-hearted. Karma's *TCH, right? I got my revenge in a way I didn't expect. I looked out for myself, protected my daughter, and exposed my wife's cheating. She had to deal with the fallout while I started to piece our lives back together. It wasn't easy, the hurt from being betrayed stuck around. But I was hell-bent on moving on. I spent time healing, bonding with my daughter, and learning to trust again. Ultimately, the ultimate revenge wasn't making her suffer, but proving that she didn't break me. I came out on top. I was like a storm, getting stronger and tougher, ready to take on whatever life threw at me. Despite everything, I strangely felt grateful. The betrayal started a chain of events that helped me understand myself better. I wasn't as dumb as I thought I was a survivor. It's been almost a year since it all went down and I still haven't fully dealt with it. I thought I had found my perfect girl, she seemed so sweet and innocent. Turns out, she was living a double life right under my nose. My girl and I were engaged for a few months and we were super pumped about starting our life together. We were both in our 20s, hustling hard. I had 2 jobs to get us financially stable, while she had a job with a small salary and was still studying. I was dedicated to giving us a good life. We were also trying to be healthier by eating right and working out. We even talked about getting a gym membership so we could work out together. So we were supposed to go to the same gym together, right? Well, one day she randomly tells me she joined a different gym instead. I didn't really care at first, thought it was kinda strange, but I was cool with it. I was fine with hitting up the original gym on my own. Her new gym was too far from where I lived anyways. We weren't living together, so a week goes by and she's been going to the gym a few times. I've been polite, asking if she's liking it and all that. Everything seemed fine, but then she started acting a bit off. Man, it's kinda weird how she's acting all distant and snappy with me for no reason. It's been a few days and it's just getting worse. She's getting really aggressive towards me. She won't open up about what's going on and it's making me feel really suspicious. So, I did some snooping and remembered she logged into her Instagram on my computer a while back. I checked and still had access to her account. What I found was shocking, a long chat between her and some guy from the gym. The chat went on for about a week and started off pretty chill, like thanks for helping me sign up and stuff. But then it got real explicit real fast. I had to read about all the nasty things they wanted to do to each other, and then the things they actually did do to each other. And can you believe they hooked up in Jim's office? I was so grossed out, shocked, and literally felt sick to my stomach. I called her right away and told her I found out and that it was over. At first, she denied it, but when she realized I saw the chat, she just hung up on me. I don't want to sound mean, but the dude she got with was seriously not good looking. I'm a good-looking guy, tall, green eyes, dark hair, and in shape. She chose a total slob over me, and I don't get it. So, I called her parents to spill the tea. At first, they were like, no way, not our girl. But then I showed them the receipts. After a while, they finally accepted it, but then they tried to blame me. They said I wasn't paying enough attention to her and was too caught up with work. What the hell, I was just working. It was tough taking care of her afterwards, but then I realized I couldn't just let it go. I was upset, but more than that, I was pissed off. This wasn't just a little mistake, she had crossed a line that couldn't be undone. I was dead set on making sure she paid for what she did. So my first move was to hire a private eye. I wanted solid evidence, something no one could argue with. I wanted to show everyone who she really was. The private investigator was actually an old buddy from school who had his own detective agency. I told him what was going on and he said he'd help me out. He followed her around for a week, getting proof of her cheating. The smoking gun was when he got a video of her with the gym guy, looking pretty cozy. The video was a bit blurry, but there was no doubt it was her. With the evidence in hand, I decided to call her out publicly. I remembered she had logged into her Facebook on my laptop before, so I logged back in. My heart was racing as I posted the video with a caption that just said weddings. I posted it and then just sat back, waiting to see the fallout. Within minutes, the video started getting views and comments. Friends and family were shocked and couldn't believe it. Some were defending her, while others were calling her out. I watched as the numbers kept going up and the reactions kept pouring in. My phone was blowing up with calls and texts, but I ignored them all. I had said what I needed to say. Her parents called, demanding an explanation. I told them to check their daughter's Facebook page. The line went silent and then hung up. Hours later, there was a girl came banging on my door, looking all desperate with tears rolling down her face, begging for forgiveness. But I was done with forgiving her. I coldly told her to leave, that I wanted nothing to do with her. She dropped to her knees, pleading, but I stayed strong. I gathered up her stuff and threw it out onto the porch. She looked at me in shock as I slammed the door in her face. It was a moment I'll never forget, the woman I once wanted to marry, reduced to a crying mess on my doorstep. The next few days were a blur as I moved out of our place together. I found a new spot and I'm starting fresh, rebuilding my life. I'm putting all my energy into work, healing, anything except thinking about her. It was tough, but I knew I made the right call. Looking back, it was rough, but it taught me a big lesson: trust is fragile, and once it's broken, it's hard to fix. I learned to value myself more and not let anyone take advantage of me. It's been a year since all that drama, and now I'm in a better place. I've moved on, met someone new who actually respects and values me. As for her, I'm done with all that. I heard she's still trying to get her shit together, but that's not my problem anymore. I've moved on from that part of my life and I'm ready for whatever comes next. I might have lost a fiancé, but I gained something even better: self-respect and the courage to stand up for myself. I realized that revenge doesn't always have to be mean. Sometimes it's just about standing up for yourself and making sure justice is served in the end. I got my revenge by taking the high road, not by stooping to her level. And that's the real tea, folks. So, hey everyone, I'm currently. So I'm going through some tough stuff right now and could really use some advice. I've been with my girlfriend for almost 3 years, and I've been friends with this dude for about 2 years. Yesterday, we had plans to chill and have a few drinks to relax and have a good time. While we were hanging out, my girlfriend texted me asking if she could come join us. We said yes, and the three of us had a pretty good time together. Later on, we decided to go back to my friend's place. On the way there, I opened up about some personal stuff. Man, I have these insecurities, like feeling weird about my thinning hair and not being into the whole three-way thing. It just doesn't sit right with me. So, we all ended up at the apartment and started watching a series together. I ended up falling asleep at some point, and when I woke up, I saw my friend all touchy-feely with my girlfriend, stroking her arm. I told my girlfriend I wasn't cool with it, but I was so tired that I just passed out again. Later on, I saw my friend wearing a silk robe, which was strange because he was dressed differently before. Before this, seeing my friend in casual clothes seemed sketchy. I was dead tired, so I just fell back asleep. All of a sudden, I woke up to the bed shaking and someone breathing heavily. I was frozen in fear as I figured out what was going on. I quickly ran to the bathroom to try to gather my thoughts and figure out what to do next. In the end, I decided to grab my stuff and leave. While I was packing, my girlfriend went to the bathroom and I confronted my friend, calling him out for being disrespectful. He gave a half-hearted apology, but it didn't mean squat to me. I went back to the room, broke up with her on the spot, grabbed my stuff, and left in a hurry. She tried to come after me, begging to walk me home and make sure I was safe, but I said no and walked home alone. She ran after me, admitting she was stupid and scared of losing me. It was the first time I saw her cry, but I was too upset to care. Now I don't know what to do. I see my friend at work all the time since we are in the same department, and I'm not sure how to deal with the situation. I was so damn angry and confused. I was in a fog for days, trying to wrap my head around what happened. My girlfriend and my best friend both stabbed me in the back, and my whole world was flipped upside down. I couldn't concentrate on anything else. All I could think about was how to get back at them. Maybe it wasn't the best way to deal with my feelings, but I was at a breaking point. I needed closure, and that meant making them feel the hurt I was going through. I stalked their social media. So, I was snooping around on their social media accounts and saw messages they were sending each other about their hookups. I took screenshots of everything and saved them just in case I needed proof later on. As I kept looking into it, I found out that their affair had been going on way longer than I thought. So, I started coming up with a plan. I wanted to expose them for being cheaters, but I also wanted to do it in a sneaky way. I decided to make a fake social media account using a fake name that no one could trace back to me. And then I got started. They straight up posted proof of their cheating on all social media, tagging them so everyone they know would see. Shit got real quick. Within hours, people were commenting, shocked and disgusted at what they did. Some even shared the posts, making it even more embarrassing. My girl and my buddy were flooded with messages and calls, demanding answers. They knew they were busted and couldn't even try to deny it. Once their names were dragged through the mud, I knew it was time for my ultimate revenge. I messaged them both, letting them know I was the one who exposed their secret affair. I made it clear how they betrayed me and broke my heart, and that their pain was nothing compared to mine. My girlfriend couldn't hold back her tears as she begged for my forgiveness, swearing she loved me and would do anything to fix things. But it was too little, too late. I was done with her deceitful ways. I straight up told her she was lying and she was crushed. I could see the hurt in her eyes, but I didn't feel sorry for her at all. My so-called best friend also tried to say sorry, but his words meant nothing to me. Our friendship was done, and nothing he said could fix it. As time went on, I started to rebuild my life. I made new friends who actually cared about me and helped me heal. I shifted my focus to my career and used my energy to move forward. Man, I used all that anger and hurt to drive me forward. I started to build up my confidence again, and I realized I deserved way better than what my ex-girlfriend and ex-best friend put me through. And you know what? Karma hit them hard. My ex-girlfriend lost her job because of the scandal and her family cut ties with her. And my former best friend's career went down the drain and his relationships fell apart once people saw his true colors. That song was fire,